So this is the week of Parshas Tetzaveh, Tov Pei Aleph, but we also have the very unique happening of this Erev Shabbos Kodesh being Chag Purim. We have the Yontif of Purim this Friday, and our normal night of giving the shir, Thursday night, will be Purim. So we're pulling the shir back one night. We're doing this on Wednesday night, and we are doing it from a remote location due to Baruch Hashem tonight in Bikur Chaylim. There's a big simcha. One of the very important and choshev volunteers is having his vort in New York tonight. So we move the shir now to a remote location. And because of the special occasion of Purim this week, we're going to focus on Purim for our Nesivos Shalom shir this week. And Nesivos Shalom speaks so much about just how holy and special this day of Purim is, and really how much can be accomplished if we just stay awake and understand and not sleep through the day, to understand that there are so many opportunities in this Yontif of Purim, and we have to just use it constructively. We have to be aware that we can accomplish so much. And there are those who say that more can be accomplished on Yom Purim, on the day of Purim, more so than on Yom HaKippurim, more so than on the day of Yom Kippur. And however we understand that, and there are different ways of understanding that, but suffice it to say that you could accomplish a tremendous amount to grow spiritually, in Tefillah, in Torah, in Avodas Hashem. So much can be done on Purim. So let's just explore one angle of Purim that we haven't spoken about yet in the Nesivos Shalom over the past years. And really, we need to understand that the situation for Klal Yisrael looked a little bit bleak, right? We read in the Megillah that there was a gezerah on Klal Yisrael, and there's a point in the Megillah where we see that things were about to turn around. And the Nesivos Shalom tells us that that very point is where Mordechai is speaking to Esther Amalka, that Esther has connections to royalty. Esther has connections to the king, to Achashverosh, and she has protectia. She has a way to get in. And Mordechai tells Esther, listen, we need you to do something, but if not, Revach v'hatzalol ya'amoid la'Yehudim imokoim acher. Mordechai says definitively, I want you to know that the salvation of Klal Yisrael is going to come from somewhere else, but the salvation is going to come if you don't do what you have to do. And we see that that was the turning point, because as soon as Mordechai said that, right after that, we find that Esther Hamalka says, "Uvechein avoy el hamelech hashaloi chados v'chasher avadati avadati." That right after Mordechai said, "Revach v'hatzalo ya'amoid la'Yehudim," that there's going to be salvation for Klal Yisrael. Right after that, we see that Esther said, "I am going to go," and Esther had a lot to lose. She said, "I am going now into Achashverosh," and from that point, we see that it rolls. The Yeshua began at that point. And up to that point, it was totally dark. What a gezerah on Klal Yisrael. There wasn't even a ray of hope. It seemed that Haman had this ironclad decree against Klal Yisrael, and there was no way out. Haman was extremely, extremely powerful. According to some Mefarshim, Haman had complete control of the country. He had more to say than Achashverosh in some ways. But we see that at that point, when Mordechai said with certainty that there will be a Yeshua, no matter what, that there would be Revach ve'atzalah, that not there will be a possible Yeshua. Mordechai said definitively there will be a Yeshua, not a chance that there will be one for sure. Right then, the salvation, the Yeshua, it began right then. And Esther Amalka says in Nesivos Shalom understood that that is the way things work. And she said right away, as soon as she heard Mordechai say that, she said right away, I am going in to Achashverosh. So the question really is, where did Mordechai get this confidence and knowledge to just go out on a limb and say that I am sure, I am positive that there will be a Yeshua for Klal Yisrael? Where did Mordechai get that idea? Where did it come from to go out and say with such confidence to Esther Amalka that there is going to be a Yeshua no matter what? So really, the answer to this goes along a theme that we've spoken about from the Nesivos Shalom, is something that anybody who's heard our shiurim knows that we've spoken about a number of times, that there are different hanhagos, or different behaviors that Hashem Kaviyachol has in this world. And the Nesivos Shalom brings it from the Saba Kadisha, Mislanim. It's brought down in the Torah Avos, and this is a theme that we've spoken about and something very, very important to remember. That the Seder Hanhaga in the world, there is a Seder Hanhaga that Hashem has in the world that is based on what is set in motion Rosh Hashanah. And we've spoken about this even in the past couple of weeks, a couple of times. There's something that's set in motion on Rosh Hashanah, and that's based on, as we know it, Sechar v'Einish, different ways, different things that Rabbeinu Shalom sets up, that this is the way the year is going to look like from Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur until the next year, Rosh Hashanah. But then there is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who's Molei Rachamim, as we've said. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, whose mercy is without boundaries. There's no cheshboinus when it comes to the mercy of Hashem. Hashem has a way of working above and beyond that cheshbon, which is the normal cheshbon of Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah. And when Klal Yisrael is zoicha, we're able to tap into that special siyata d'shmaya. We're able to tap into that special cheshbon that goes above and beyond the norm. We're able to tap into that and go to like into an overdrive into this special hanhaga of Hashem. And we know that there are things that are nichtav and nechtam b'taba'as on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. Like we always say, they're written and they're sealed on Yom Kippur, much like the Gezerah. Bear in mind the Gezerah in the Megillah also, which was nechtav and nechtam. It was written and sealed. But there are things that are written and sealed on Rosh Hashanah and on Yom Kippur. And then, as we said, there's a level of operations above that. But you know when that level of operations gets set into motion? That gets set into motion, and we need to remember this. It gets set into motion when Klal Yisrael is in an Eis Tzara. That is when Hashem looks and says, I can't have this. I need to do something for Klal Yisrael. When Klal Yisrael is in a serious Eis Tzara, it's dafka at that time that the chesed of Hashem really comes out, which is really a very encouraging thought, that just when we are in the most dire of straits, that is when Hashem says everything's off the table. Now I set into motion a special hanhaga for Klal Yisrael. On the darkest of days is when this special light shines through. The Gemara Masechta Sanhedrin Daf Yud Zayin Omar Aleph tells us that if all dayanim, if all the judges in a case say that a person is guilty, you know what happens? The person goes out free. We rule innocent if everybody says guilty. And that has to do with sort of this type of hanhaga, that when everything seems to be going against something, Hashem has mercy. Hashem says, no, it can't be that everything is bad. It can't be that it's all bad. It can't be that it's so bad. I need to do something for that person. I need to do something for Klal Yisrael. And that is just the way Hashem runs the world. That when it seems so dark and that all is lost, then you're going free. Then Hashem is coming in and going to the rescue. So too, another Gemara, Masechta Sanhedrin, on Daf Tzadi Ches, Omad Aleph, an unbelievable Gemara. The Gemara tells us that Ein ben David ba, Mashiach is only going to come, Ella, bidor shekuloi zakai, either in a generation where everybody is good and everybody is virtuous and innocent, or kuloi chayev. Mashiach is only going to come in one of two ways. Either everyone is good, or if everyone is not good, or everyone is chayev. The obvious question, of course we understand, if it's in a dor shekulei zakai, in a generation where everybody is tzaddikim and everyone's doing everything right, then of course I understand why Mashiach should and would come. But Mashiach is going to come to a dor chayev. Mashiach is going to come to a generation where everybody is not fantastic, where everybody's not good, where it's a dor shekuloi chayev. And the answer is, as we've been saying, that when it's at the darkest of moments, and when Hashem sees that to the human eye, to the human being, there's no hope. It seems just hopeless and helpless. Nobody's good. Everyone. Then HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, then I need to help. Kaviyachal, Hashem says that I need to step in to put in place this special hanhaga that I reserve for when Klal Yisrael is in big trouble. And that is really what happened in Megillas Esther, as we said. That is what happened by Mordechai ve'Esther, where the gezerah was lahashmid, laharoig, ulabeidis, kol haYehudim. Could you imagine such a gezerah? We're not sparing anybody. Haman had accomplished everything he thought he wanted. That everything and everyone in Klal Yisrael would be wiped out. Lahashmid, laharoig, everything. It seemed that it was so dark. It was like a gezerah like never before. And Mordechai knew about this hanhaga of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that once Haman was going to wipe out everything and everyone, lashmid, la'areg, call everything, the entire Klal Yisrael and everything that has to do with Klal Yisrael, then Mordechai knew about this hanhaga of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that when Klal Yisrael is in such deep trouble, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's not even a question. We don't have a suffix. Revach ve'atzola ya'amoid la'Yehudim. There is going to be a salvation. There's going to be a Yeshua for Klal Yisrael. And Hashem is about to step in. No cheshboinus. What was nichtav v'nechtam, what was written and sealed, just like something that is written and sealed on Rosh Hashanah, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to step in, he can override that. Here, when Klal Yisrael was in so much trouble, and it was written, and it was sealed, and it seems that all is lost, Mordechai knew with confidence, this is HaKadosh Baruch Hu time. This is the time that our God steps in. And Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, yes, regular hanhaga. When there's a gzeira, normally regular hanhaga. But when Klal Yisrael has no one else to rely on, just like HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because everything else seems that it can't be, then Revach ve'hatzola ya'amoid la'Yehudim mimakoim acher. Mordechai told Esther, if you're not going to do it, don't worry. You don't have to worry so much. There's going to be a Yeshua for Klal Yisrael. And really, if we think about what kind of generation and what kind of situation and what kind of times we live in today, we could think and hope that, you know what, we might be at that point where it's a complete year now. We've gone through something which nobody in our lifetime has seen, where it seemed like everything we thought we had power over, everything we thought we had control over is nonsense. We have no control over anything. Everything is in the hands of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we were lost. We had nowhere to turn, nowhere to go. So we hope we're at that point where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying, whatever was before, I'm coming in to take over. I'm coming in to save you. Revach v'hatzola, that we should be zoicha to the ultimate Yeshua of Mashiach Tzidkenu. And this should be the last Purim in Golos. I wish everybody, Afreilich and Purim, remember Kavod Shabbos, remember to enjoy your Purim, but to remember also that Shabbos Kodesh is coming and how we have to treat Shabbos too.